Videoguys.com is your source for streaming media and live production equipment, storage, and video editing hardware and software. We have specialized in video editing and production for more than 25 years, and our technicians are available to answer your questions and help you find the best solution for your needs and budget.
It's Shawn Lam here for Streaming Media Producer, and this is a sponsored tutorial for Videoguys.com of the Roland VR-50HD AV mixer. Now, the first thing you're going to notice on a system like this is that it's more than just a standard video switcher. It has an audio component that takes up half of the panel here, and there's a good reason. Its audio is really important. And the second side here, the right side, this is where we have the video controls, as well as a multi-view video switcher. And then one of the other components is that this is a streaming appliance. So the USB output on here is a USB class streaming appliance standard, and you can stream using just the USB to a connected computer, which is, it saves you having to use an intermediate webcast encoder. And I think that really says a lot about this switcher, is that it's all in one. You don't have to have a lot of other pieces of equipment to go with it. Things like having, Roland does make a really nice scan converter, and this has VGA input, otherwise known as RGB, HDMI, as well as HDSDI input, and it converts this to anything you need on the output side, HDMI and HDSDI. But you don't need this with this video switcher because it has all of those inputs. You also don't need to bring your audio mixing board because it has a full one built in here. So let's go through a couple of features on this really neat video switcher. First off, on the left-hand side, we have the audio console. It's organized in terms of the inputs here. Inputs 1 through 4 are the mic level inputs, which on the back here are these XLR tip ring sleeve combo inputs. You also have a combination of RCA inputs and tip ring sleeve inputs that are line level. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are those inputs here. On the back, those are these guys over here. In addition to those inputs, you can also accept inputs from the HDMI or the HDSDI. And it's similar to on the video side. You've got a lot of different options coming in, and you can route those inputs where you want them to go. So sometimes I like to use the audio off of a camera. Maybe it's for ambient purposes. There's a lot of reasons why, but I can actually get that using the HDMI or the HDSDI feed. Other times I have an external audio company and my audio input's coming off of their soundboard, so all I need is a single input. And then other times I'm running microphones like I've got down here today. I've got the wireless lavalier that I'm wearing, and I've set up a handheld microphone as well. So let's take a look at how we set up microphones here. So input number 1 is already set up. That's my microphone that I'm wearing right now. Input number 2, this is the handheld microphone. So the first thing in setting up a microphone is you need to adjust the gain. So we're leaving the slider at about parity, about halfway up here. We turn the gain up, and I'm going to turn this up a little bit, turn this guy down here so you can still hear me. And as I adjust the gain up, you'll see that the audio level increases, and on my tree here, you can see that the lights are lighting up at appropriate levels there. And then there's the main output here. So that's essentially how you'd set up a microphone input. So I'm going to slide back to my lavalier microphone here. And in addition to just having these sliders and the external controls, we can delve into the menu here. And in the setup menu, we can actually affect the levels of the audio. So this is the overall level here. We've got gain that we can adjust, which is the top guy up here. It corresponds. There's even phantom power, 48 volt. In audio testing, it's really important to have a solo ability. So if I hit the solo, only this microphone works and all the rest are turned off. It's a great troubleshooting technique. This is the only mic that we have turned on right now, so it doesn't do anything. I can also mute the output using that button there. We aux send and reverb send, so in addition to the master line out, we also have an auxiliary audio output. And that's really convenient when you're doing 2 mixes, same as on the video side. So an aux output, you can send maybe one level 1 recording mix to an archive recording or the live house, and the other one to the streaming. There's so many different combinations, but the important thing is that having that ability is really important, having multiple video outputs as well as audio outputs, and aux sends, that's what you use for that. Deeper into the menu, you've got a lot of different features here. Delay, sometimes audio and video don't arrive at the same time, especially if it's not going through the same system. The speed of light is a lot faster than the speed of sound, and so sometimes you need to add in some delay for the audio. There's a 3-band equalizer in here for audio level, so you can adjust the highs, the mids, and the lows. One of the most value-added features that I appreciate is the gate and the compressor that's available in the menu here. And so essentially the gate, you assign a noise floor level, and then anything that's below that gets cut off. It's great for removing things like air conditioner hum and a bit of room noise that you don't want entering your recording. And the compressor works at the other end of the audio spectrum, so it helps take those the audio levels that would otherwise clip and bring it down. It compresses it. So the gate and the compressor really help stretch your audio range there. The third control that you're going to have is for your USB audio, and that's found on the top of the system here. So this is a knob that you can turn to adjust the USB audio level independent of your master and your aux audio outputs. And this would be used for your USB recording or your USB streaming. It's really important to have separate controls over all your different audio levels, because at different times, some of them might have different audio level requirements. Roland has a very strong legacy of audio equipment, and you can see some of the nice touches that they've added into the video mixer here. And one of them for me is, in addition to the audio level knob on the front here, they've actually added in 2 different headphone jack outputs. They've got the mini for the headphone, but they've also got the 1/4 inch there in case you've got a professional standard or in case you have your adapter. When it comes to video switching on the VR-50HD, I like to look at the inputs and the outputs, and there are plenty on both sides. Essentially, there's 4 video inputs, and you can have your choice of SDI, HDMI, as well as VGA or RGB, composite, and component video inputs. And the way all these can work together, all these different inputs, is that each input has its own scaler. You also have a lot of outputs. You have an auxiliary output, you have a USB output, a program output, a preview output, and a multi-view output. So really you can fill yourself up with as many monitors as you want, or you can be very minimal and just use the LCD monitor here that has a preview program, has the multi-view, and as well as a quadrant for the still image that's loaded in. There are 4 video inputs that you can select from on the VR-50HD, and the buttons are located on the front panel down here. Video input 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is my close-up angle, my front master shot. I've got a reverse angle shot from up here, as well as a computer video input here. Videoguys.com, our sponsor of this tutorial, and this is the VR-50HD on their website. In addition to those inputs, I can also use the touchscreen panel up here. All of these video inputs are available, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The video switcher right now is set up on straight cuts. So if I toggle between the inputs, it's a straight cut. If I choose the mix button, it has a cross dissolve, the timing of which is adjustable. It's a lot slower dissolve right now. And then the third option for transitions is the wipe. So if I select wipe, the one I have by default right now is a wipe going from top to bottom, but hitting the setup button reveals on the screen here additional options. So you can do the traditional left to right, right to left. Finally, the last transition option we want to look at is the output fade or the fade to black option. Located down here is the button. So if we adjust the timing to have a slow fade, change this to mix, hit the output fade, and we're going to slowly fade to black. In the system menu here is where you would load in images from your USB stick just by hitting the still load and delete function. And then there's 4 different destinations you can choose from. So you just simply load in the bitmap and assign it to which input you want, and then you can select between those. When it comes to compositing, we can use up to 4 different video layers. We're watching the background right now. I can add in a picture-in-picture, as well as a picture-in-picture key. This one's keyable, and then a still key. So this is an example of 4 different layers simultaneously on the Roland VR-50HD. Through the menu system, we can decide if we want to change up some of the parameters from the default here. And say I want to get rid of that blue background on the picture-in-picture. I'd go into the composition setup, and then I would select Edit Picture-in-Picture and go to Detail, and then I can affect the border width and just completely remove it. Or I can make it larger, which I wouldn't ever want to do. And I can even play with the color a bit. Let's take it a bit off of, let's turn it to gray. It's a bit more neutral there. So those are some of the different options we have, as well as moving this around and changing the size of it as well. So very versatile, very powerful menu system here for the compositing. Hypothetically, you can connect 8, 10, 12 different devices to this video switcher, and using the menu system and a combination of buttons, you can choose from up to 12 different inputs. So in all intents and purposes, it's a 4-input switcher, but expandable up to 12 if you do the right type of input assigning and selecting between those. If you go into the input assign menu, you can see that each of those inputs has a few different options. So input 1, we can choose between an HDMI, an SDI, a composite, and an RGB component input. So there's actually 4 different inputs that can go into that one input. So it's almost like input 1 is the channel, and then you can have 4 different inputs there. Input 2 is the same. Inputs 3 and 4 were restricted to only HDMI or SDI inputs. So I'm now going to add in a 4th video input. This one's going to be an HDMI input from my laptop. And so I need to go into the input assign menu down here and change in the input from an SDI to an HDMI input. In the video menu, we can select the output resolution of the program output. I've selected 720p here, but we can also choose 1080i and 1080p, as well as standard definition 4:3 and 16:9 aspect ratios, and there's a bunch of computer resolutions available for you as well. In addition, we can also affect the USB streaming output by toggling between 480p, 720p, and 1080p. The reason why all of the USB streaming resolutions are progressive is simply because that's the way we want to be streaming, and we want our consumers to be consuming our video. There's no interlace anymore when it comes to web video. So internally, the video switcher does its own deinterlacing, and it turns everything into progressive on the USB side. You can still have interlace on the program side if you so choose, and if there's a requirement for that. The first step in video streaming with the Roland VR-50HD using the USB output is to make sure that my USB 2 or USB 3 video cable is connected. That's located down here, and it connects up to my webcast encoder. In this case, I'm going to use my laptop. I'm using Adobe Flash Media Live Encoder for this demonstration, but you can use any type of webcast encoding software that you choose that's compatible with a USB class streaming appliance. And those include Wirecast, vMix, Ustream or Livestream Producer, which essentially are Wirecast white labeled versions. The most important thing when you're setting up these software pieces is that they recognize your camera. In Flash Media Live Encoder, I need to switch my video input from my webcam, which is currently selected, to the VR-50HD. I'd rather have the Roland VR-50HD do the heavy lifting when it comes to down converting the video output for my webcast encoding. So I've selected 720p. That way my webcast encoder doesn't need to do that, and it can work just on a pixel-to-pixel scale, a 1-to-1 pixel-to-pixel scale. Thank you for watching my tutorial on the Roland VR-50HD AV mixer and streaming appliance. It truly is an all-in-one audio, video, and streaming solution.
VideoGuys.com is your source for streaming media and live production equipment, storage, and video editing hardware and software. We have specialized in video editing and production for more than 25 years, and our technicians are available to answer your questions and help you find the best solution for your needs and budget.